Hello, Mafa. Welcome to the second round of Mafa board elections for the 2017 to 2018 school year. So just to give you guys a little bit of an overview, just like the first round, candidates will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to present and speak about the position that they are running for. And the current Mafa board and any viewers will be given the opportunity to ask any questions during our Q&A portion, which will won't exceed 5 minutes. And then the voting party will consist of 1 vote per member school and 2 votes per Mafa board officers. And then there will be a simple majority vote that will decide the outcome of the election. If any of our candidates are running unopposed, they must gain 2/3 majority vote of the voting party in order to be elected for their position. And the results will be released approximately in a week. So, welcome to elections. Kathleen will be our wonderful secretary, will be keeping time for our candidates, and she will flash a sign that has 2 minutes left and 1 minute left. And then, yeah, let's get started. So, first up, we have Maddie Ronquillo from Loyola Kappa. She'll be running for our co-outreach chair position, and we will be sending her link.
Okay, I'm gonna send Maddie the link. You guys can tell dad jokes or whatever.
Awesome. Also, Nita, I'm pretty sure they can see the chat.
No, they can't. Okay, they.
All right.
Myself. Go ahead, Priya.
When I found out that my toaster was not waterproof, I was shocked.
It was terrible.
I know that was really bad. Oh, I've got one. Oh shoot, I forgot it. What did one snowman say to the other? Hey, do you smell carrots?
I get it.
These are really bad ones.
I get it.
I had a limited time to think them up.
Okay, Maddie's coming on soon. She said that also they can't see the chat, so we're good.
Lit, yes. Okay. Hi, Maddie.
Hi.
Hi, Maddie.
Hi, Maddie.
Hi, guys.
So welcome. Whenever you're ready, you'll have 5 minutes. You can keep up Kathleen's icon because she will flash a sign that says when you have 2 minutes left or 1 minute left. And then you'll have a 5-minute Q&A portion. And you can start whenever you're ready.
Wait, Kathleen's, like, it's not showing like her like video, it's only showing like her picture. So I don't know if that's the thing.
I'm gonna share my screen. So okay. Can you see that? Say 2 minutes left.
Oh, I see it.
Okay. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Okay, cool. All right. Give me a second. Okay. So, hello, Mafa Board and Mafasphere. Just to start out with a brief introduction for those who don't know me, my name is Madeline Ronquillo, but most people know me as Maddie. I'm running for one of the outreach positions for the upcoming year. I'm currently a rising senior at Loyola University Chicago, and I'm studying advertising, public relations, and psychology. I'm also proud to be the co-vice president for CAPA for the next year. In the past 3 years, I've served on multiple committees in CAPA and had a blast being the external PR officer and Mafa rep over the past year. As outreach chair, I'd really like the upcoming year to be about making personal connections. As the Mafa Constitution states, outreach chairs are to utilize effective communication in relaying important tasks to the designated recipients. We live in a world that's flooded with messages everywhere, but the communication that speaks to us the most are the ones that are individualized and specifically made for us. And that's a principle I'd like to apply to the communication aspect of the outreach chair. As far as Mafa reps go, having a group chat is definitely a useful resource and a great place for bonding, but having an individual chat with myself, my possible co, and each Mafa rep will allow for individualized check-ins with each rep and avoids the rep from missing or skipping important messages. The same goes for Mafa families. In my experience as a Mafa family head, our Mafa family head chat seemed really overwhelming with a lot of messages and questions that can be solved over an individualized chat. These personal chats can also allow for a better pathway to ask for feedback, and rather than asking to fill out a separate Google form, which just seems like an unnecessary step when you can just ask the question there. Speaking of Mafa families, I think Mafa family heads can play a bigger role than they currently do. While it was awesome that each Mafa family had a head, giving more tasks than over the year, probably monthly, would help these heads grow as leaders and hold them more accountable in their positions. A couple additional ideas I had were to assign 2 heads per family and to have Mafa family heads conduct individual check-ins. Having at least 2 Mafa family heads per family will help in terms of keeping the family active. If one of the heads gets busy with school or life, then their co-head can step in and vice versa. Mafa family heads can also conduct check-ins to welcome a new member, or if they notice a family member isn't being active in the group chat for an extended amount of time. As for general Mafa members, while I think that going in person to Mafa events in schools is the best way to make connections, it's difficult to travel to different schools for different events. I can totally relate because I live in Chicago and I take public transportation everywhere, so I don't really have a car readily accessible to me. But I still believe that personal connections between the Mafa board and the Mafa sphere can be made. An idea that I had was kind of inspired by the invitations that Marquette's BSO made for each school for MFAS 2017, or even the finals video that you guys made towards the end of the fall semester. It was a really good pick-me-up, so I think those videos should be used more often, and these videos can also be shared at general body meetings by the Mafa reps, or even just shared on everyone's Facebook page, and it gives faces to the names that people see on Facebook all the time. The reason I was drawn to this position was because of the opportunity for collaboration. Mafa is made up of so many incredible organizations, and not only by being a part of one, but also speaking to the members of others remind me why I love this organization and I'm proud to be a part of it. For collaboration, I'd really want to start with things such as planning summer in Mater because schools who host these events really get a hands-on experience with planning it. The host school's executive board, instead of handling only logistics like housing, can also be in charge of planning a workshop for the attendees to be a part of. I think it's not only a great experience, but to be relevant at this leadership retreat, because leadership isn't just one group organization following another. It's learning from each other and how we can grow from our separate experiences. Collaboration can break down the hierarchy and instead connects us all on an equal playing field. This seems like a lot of planning and a lot of communicating, but I think that with a potential co by my side, the work can be a lot more manageable. A great thing about Outreach Chair is that it allows for 2 people to share the responsibility and the workload. I've had a lot of experience in working in groups and with a co, and while it may be difficult to be on the same page at the same time, the first thing I would do with my co is to talk about our other responsibilities outside of Mafa, and to be clear that if anything were to come up, that we would communicate issues. While Mafa itself is an organization, it's time to show that the communities that make Mafa can connect personally under a common cause of representing and celebrating the Filipino community of the Midwest. Thank you for listening, and that is my speech.
Good job in your speech, Maddie. So we're going to start our question and answer portion. So with your potential advisors going first. So Mads and I, Mads, you can ask your question first. Hi, Maddie. Great speech.
Thanks.
So you mentioned a lot of communication with the potential Mafa family heads and Mafa representatives. So a lot of the things that me and I struggled with this year was like, keeping up with them and making sure that they're motivated. So next year, if you plan on having 2 heads, there are 20 families, you're gonna have like 40 heads plus like 20 Mafa representatives. So how are you going to help keep them all active and motivated throughout the year if you're working with like 60 leaders?
Well, I think that was the whole idea of having personal chats. What I do with, as vice president for COPLA, what I've done with all of staff is I make me and my co-vice president, Janine, she and I have chats with every single one of the branches, and we label them with, so like it'll say, VPs X AKB. So we know what the chat is about and we know what is supposed to go in that chat. So I like to do the same thing with that. So like having each chat labeled so I know who is in this chat and what is this chat about. So it's sort of like an organizational perspective. And then also having sort of a communication like set plan, so to speak. So like we'll always have like events like summer LR and winter LR and MFAS. So like having and facts. So like things like having things set up already for like each of those events and maybe even every month will help making sure that like I can see like, did I communicate this to this family head or this to this rep? Does that make sense? Okay.
Maddie, what I wanted to know was something that Maddie and I struggled with was coming across inactive schools, or schools that weren't as active in Mafa, but they still had a type of presence. How do you plan on approaching those types of schools? Because sometimes, in terms of like getting information from them or getting contact info, it was kind of hard to communicate. Do you have any plan or a potential plan to approach those types of situations?
I think it would start by going through the Mafa rep, and I think by going through the Mafa rep, it's just one person, and I think that like having just one like communication pathway is the best way. But I think that if if that Mafa rep is busy or like isn't really responsive, I think it would be best to go through like any other e-board members. I think that like even though that Mafa rep might just be one person, I think that we can get information from another person. I also think that like through other connections, we can find the communication for other schools. What I did when I was external rep last year, one of the athletic chairs asked me for information that I had no idea how to find. So I went through another school, and that school knew another person, and that school knew that person at that school that I was trying to find. So using our connections through Mafa is another way that we could help finding information and finding the communication, finding the person to communicate to.
Okay, thank you. I think Kathleen had a question.
Yes, I do.
Hello.
2 minutes left, by the way, so I'll try to be quick. But I had a question about your position on CACWA as co-VP. So how does the nature of that position relate to or differs from the nature of co-outreach as you see it? And how could you see the nature of both workloads creating potential conflicts for you next year?
So as far as like the similarities and differences, I think a lot of it is organization and communication. The main difference being that outreach is very external, lots of connecting with different audiences outside of just one group, rather than VP is very internal. I mostly am in charge of being the liaison for staff as well as the Student Diversity and Multicultural Affairs Committee at Loyola. So that's the main difference between the two, but I think the core of it is very much, the foundation of it is in communication and making sure that everyone has their specific messages that they need to relay. As for the workload, I've thought a lot about running for Mafa board, and I've communicated this with my co and my president, my co being Janine Lomibao and my president being Nicole Calastro. And they've been very supportive throughout this entire process of me deciding to run. And they know that if I need to, help plan for MFAS or any event like that, they know that they can take time to prepare their workload so that I can take time to help with Mafa board. At the same time, I also think that an agreement that Mafa board should have, just in general, is to hold each other accountable for our positions. I know that not everyone will have a position outside of Mafa board, but for those of us who do, I think it's very important that we do that. In COPL, we have these staff contracts. It's sort of like we will hold each other accountable for the job that we ran to do. And so anyone in staff can come up to me and say, hey, I think you could really work on doing this. So that sort of thing, and making sure that we can all hold each other accountable no matter what position that we have. And okay, that was it. Okay, that's okay. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Maddie.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
Maddie.
Yay! So our first candidate is done. And our next two candidates will be running for the position of events coordinator. Our first candidate is Amber Chestnut from IUFAA, and we will be sending her link shortly. But for now, who has a dad joke?
Does anyone else have one?
It's only you.
Okay. Did you hear about the kidnapping at school? It's okay. He woke up.
It's actually kind of funny.
When is a door not a door? When it's a jar. Um, hmm.
Anyone else have a dad jokes too? Kuya, you're doing great. You're doing great.
Wait.
I got one.
Okay,
Oh.
okay, you go.
What do you call Batman leaving church early? Christian Bale.
That's really good.
I really like that joke.
All right, this is gonna sound really stupid, but this one's for Julia. What does a pirate say on his 80th birthday? I'm matey.
She
That makes
said
sense?
no pirate joke.
I'm matey.
I mean to. Oh, okay.
I think that's.
Wait, how do
I
pirates
tried.
the arc theme? And like, oh, I can't.
I've got a more appropriate pirate-related joke. What's the pirate's favorite letter?
R. R.
So you'd think it'd be R, but it's actually the C.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I need to be stopped. I'm sorry to myself.
Hey, what do you call a fake noodle?
An impasta.
An imposter.
I'm sorry.
Hi, Amber.
Hi, Amber.
Oh, wait, Amber. I don't know if it's just me, but I can't hear you.
No, I can't hear you either, Amber.
So while Amber is trying to get through her technical difficulties, it's okay. I guess. How's everyone's summer going? Like, we could just talk. We don't have to have dad jokes unless Kuya has another dad joke.
No, please, no more.
Wait, I got one more. I got one more.
Okay, Kill, go ahead.
Okay.
A shout out to Hannah Quinn from Marquette. From Hannah from Marquette. Her joke was, "What's brown and sticky?"
A
Brown
stick.
stick. Dang it. Yeah, it is.
What's blue and smells like red paint?
Paint.
Blue paint?
Yeah.
Mm, yeah. How's your summer going, Ken?
My summer's been, I don't know, applying to medical school is scary. I see the requirements, or I see like the average like MCAT scores and the average GPAs. I'm like,
Overly.
oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Apparently, SLU is very selective.
Yeah.
Very hard to get into. But I am hoping to get somewhere in the Midwest.
That'd be chill.
Okay, I'm gonna tell another dad joke. What's German for an unexpected pregnancy?
Wait, what?
A
Yikes.
Kinder surprise.
Oh, it's that little egg.
Oh, no, that's horrible.
They're illegal here, though.
Yeah, they're illegal in the U.S. I don't know
You can
why.
get them in Canada. And they're like,
Did you guys hear about magic syrup being illegal in the US?
for real?
Yeah, something like that. Magic syrup or something like that, or some type of like powder for Filipino foods because it like causes cancer.
Oh.
Crazy.
Oh, well.
Crazy.
Yeah, I don't want anything that causes cancer.
Yeah.
I will never stop eating sinigang.
No, I mean like it's only like that brand. Like you can get like like Mamacitas and like Tita whatever, Tita I don't know what
The
else.
magic setup is my favorite, bro.
Okay,
Gotta do it.
It's been nice knowing you.
If I die happy.
Okay. Is it fun? Or is it like
Does it,
Wow. Is
So, Kenny, where's your joke? It's all silent and dry right now.
okay, hold on. Let me find my
Penny,
folder.
can you see us? Or is she frozen?
Me?
Trini? Oh well, I mean she's been smiling for a really long time.
Maybe sometimes just happy.
Yeah.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Hi Amber, yeah, we can.
Oh yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Hi, good. Okay, sorry about that. I had to like do this on my phone.
No problem. So you're gonna have 5 minutes for your speech, and you can click on Kathleen's icon, and she will give you a warning of 2 minutes left and 1 minute left. And then after that, you'll have your 5-minute Q&A portion. So
Okay.
you can start when you're ready.
Okay, awesome. So hello everyone, my name is Amber Chestnut and I'm going into my 4th year at Indiana University. I am a journalism major concentrating in public relations and advertising. I've been actively involved in my school's small organization since my freshman year. But sophomore year, I decided to take a step out of my comfort zone and become the public relations director and the external Mafa rep for my school. Then later, a Mafa event coord intern. This past year, I pushed myself even more and became the president for IU's newly named Filipino American Association, which led me to this moment, applying for the Mafa event coordinator. The reason I decided to apply for this position is simple, because I love events, both hosting them and attending, whether it's a cultural event, social event, a fundraiser, whatever. I love being a part of the planning process and working with other people to turn an idea into a reality. These events are basically why Mafa is here today and why we have our school organizations. Events are coordinated to do a multitude of things like spreading awareness, building relationships, and to do something greater, something bigger for a specific purpose in mind. One of my bigger goals as the Mafa event coord is to build more relationships and continue to provide a space where everybody feels like they're a part of the community. Now, I know Mafa already does such a great job of this, but I believe you can always do more. And a great way to do this is through our events. Mafa has a lot of big things like Rice Bowl, Battle Bamboo Fact, where a lot of people travel to one spot at one specific time. And a lot of times it can be intimidating for some schools and individuals to reach out and meet new people, especially since some of the schools already have strong bonds with each other. Personally, my freshman year, my organization mainly stuck to themselves, and my first, I would say, real Mafa experience came from being an external rep. I was finally able to meet people and make new friends. But I definitely think it would be interesting to do campaigns during these big events where we encourage members to get out of their comfort zone. These campaigns can be very small, something along the lines of like a scavenger hunt or like a list of tasks for attendees to do, such as like meet someone who goes to a different school, but they have to be born in the Philippines, or find and take a picture with someone who is wearing your school's colors or your school's gear, and take a picture with them. And then at the end of the event, we could kind of use these photos and this campaign as a recap and highlight specific things that went on at the event. But yeah, this is something that will provide members a reason to reach out to others, where the initial icebreaker won't be so awkward and more relationships can be built and people can meet each other. Another big thing that I would like to bring to the drawing board while on Mafa board would be to kind of create like a forum or like a resource guide for Mafa members. And so basically this would be a platform where Mafa members could go and see how other organizations host or coordinate an event. It would be a specific place where they could get tips and advice from other schools to see how they throw on similar events like PCNs, formal showcases, benefits, and find out what worked for them. This would give them a place to ask questions on how to improve already existing events and programs and see how other schools stay organized during the planning process all the way up to the event. I also think it would be cool to include like a list of organizational tools, like a toolkit almost, a place where we can lay down event timelines, templates, funding resources, links to different stores where people can buy costumes, equipment, stuff like that. Because anything that can be thought of that would be beneficial information for any kind of e-board to use. Because Mafa is a very big community and there are a lot of smaller communities within it, and the majority of them work independently and to improve their club foundation. I want to be able to provide these organizations with this resource so that they can see how others work and build from these ideas to improve their own club dynamics. I know sometimes it can be hard to ask for help, or people can be comfortable with where they're at already. So I think this would be a really good way for our schools to expand both on a small level and on a big level. So yeah, I was a little hesitant to apply, but the more I thought about it, the more I couldn't pass up the amazing opportunity that Mafa is and the experience that it will give me to grow as a person. So yeah, that's what I got for you guys. Thank you.
Whew. Thank you, Amber. We're going to start with your question and answer portion with Julia first.
Hey, Amber. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Oh, by any means. We are.
Hi, Emily. Sorry. We're still with Amber in her Q&A portion.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry.
okay.
Can we ask you to come back in 5 minutes? Sorry about that. What was I saying? Oh, thank you for your speech. It was really cool to see you out here today. In your application, you mentioned the importance of personal relationship as well as in your speech. And something that I was interested in is how do you plan to take these resource guides that you plan on implementing and actually and bringing it to like our community? Like, how do you plan on, or I guess like the question is like, what is your, I'm running out of time, is your programming like specified for the general body members or specified for like the e-board?
Yeah, of course. I definitely think it would be for general members because even though some people aren't, uh, even though some people don't have an executive board position, they still have like important leadership roles in the community, you know. And I think this can also be a way for people who are thinking about applying for things so they can kind of see like the workload and what actually goes into having that leadership position. As for like the format of the platform, it's still pretty new. I think it's definitely an idea that I would have to work with, but it would be collective. I think it would be smart either to have it on like a forum base or maybe a doc, because I know on a lot of Facebook groups we've had people ask questions about, oh, what do you guys do for your AKA program? And that's basically where the idea surfaced from, because some people are too scared to ask those questions or don't really take the initiative or just are happy what they are. But I think it would be just some like a nice resource guide for our members to have, just to see how everybody does it, because everybody does it differently, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But just because it didn't work that first time doesn't mean that it's a failed attempt. There are no failed attempts, you know. It's basically, okay, what went wrong, how do we improve it, let's try again. And that's basically where the idea branches from.
Awesome, thank you. And then second question that I had is, so collaboration is a really important aspect of like leadership as well as event planning. And from your experience, like working with like the past Mafa board, with like hosting and attending LRs as well as MFAS, like what do you think could be improved in like this planning process?
What could be improved? Well, I think our LR went really good, so I have to think of things that we could improve on. There's always room for improvement. I would say a big thing to improve on is to personally invite more people to the LR. Our past summer LR was pretty small, you know, and it was in a new place. IU hasn't really gotten very involved in the past, so it was really scary for us to like, whoa, we're taking like a big step out here right now. So let's see how it goes. But overall, I think our planning went really, really well. I think we probably could have had more meetings leading up to the LR so that we could specifically specify certain things and set deadlines for things to be a thing, and for things to be done. Because I remember we had a little trouble with housing back then too, because I didn't take into account that a lot of people had left for the summer during the date we had chose the LR. But you know, like I said, like it's an experience, and we got through it and it was fine. So definitely more strategic planning. You can never have enough strategic planning, and to reach out to other schools to personally invite them to come to the LR and be a part of something bigger.
Awesome, thank you. Does anyone else have questions from off the board or? Yes, no. Okay. A final question that I had was, using like your experience of like coming from a small SLU or school, because SLU is also a small SLU, like what do you think is the importance of like maintaining relationships with smaller schools for like bigger events, such as like LR and things like that?
Okay, this is like right up my alley. So for smaller schools, they tend to work mostly like within their quarters, you know, because maybe they're too far away to attend certain events, or maybe they just feel kind of uncomfortable in that certain environment. And so basically, as a member on Mafa board, I feel it's kind of your duty to break that ice, you know. For me personally, I don't think I would be as involved with Mafa board if I hadn't been reached out to my sophomore year. I'm like, hey, you know, she's like, come to LR, it's super close, only 2 hours away. And I decided to do it, and from there it really changed me, and it changed my aspect on the whole organization, because for a while there I felt as if our organization was too small to be a part of something that was so big. I felt like we really got pushed in the back. And I'm sure there are a lot of other schools.
Oh, sorry, Gabriel. We just ran out of time. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So much. Good job on your speech, and feel free. You're welcome to leave when you're ready.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Bye,
All
everyone.
right,
Thank
thanks,
you.
guys. Bye.
I'm sorry, I didn't even like see the time. Um, yeah.
So, do we have any more dad jokes while we wait for Emily? Kuya or Kuya?
Can you guys see my video, by the way, or no?
No tail.
Let me see. I didn't really have, kind of used up all my good ones last time.
Is anyone traveling anywhere for this one?
Hi guys.
Oh,
Hey, Emily.
Hi, Emily.
oh.
Hi.
So, Emily, when you're ready, you can begin your 5-minute speech, and then you will have your 5-minute Q&A after. So, whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Okay, sounds good. Whew. I'm just pulling it up. Okay. Hi, Mafa community and Mafa board. My name is Emily Ballantyne, and I'm an incoming junior studying social welfare and justice at Marquette University. Today, I'm running to be the 2017-2018 Mafa events coordinator. I've experienced event planning, I'm able to manage my time well, and I consider myself professional, easy to talk to, and hardworking. Although I am a busybody, I believe that my previous year of BSO e-board, sorority committees, weekly service requirements, work responsibilities, and students directly taught me that I am capable of and what I am not capable of. In the following year, I will be handling less. My position on BSO e-board, my job, and school are my only other commitments. However, knowing FSC is a difficult role to balance with possible Mafa e-board, I've decided if necessary, I will take time off of work. In terms of event planning, I have very recent experience as one of this year's MFAS coordinators. Not only was planning a large-scale event a way to experience many of the obstacles that come with event planning, but I was able to work closely with Mafa board and specifically this year's events coordinator. In addition, as an MFAS coordinator, I had the privilege of attending FACT and Winter LR's QUAC sessions. Not only have these interactions helped me understand what it means to be a leader, it's introduced me to the role of Mafa board and the time commitment required. As mentioned, I faced many of the event planning obstacles others have faced. One that I'd like to focus on is having constant motivation to keep up with the necessary planning required. As an events coordinator, it would be my responsibility to constantly act as a liaison and facilitator. Not only would I have to be self-motivated, but I'd have to continue being a source of motivation for the designated events coordinators. Knowing my personality, I believe that I'd be a positive source of encouragement and resources for when an event may be facing problems. Other problems event planners may face is attendance, financial limitations, and communication problems. Knowing that the Mafa website from 2 years ago is still the first resource Google provides users, I would like to work with the Media Master to clean up the Mafa website and use it effectively in promoting events. I'd personally like to set up consistent event countdowns to help hype up events. I'd also like to work with the treasurer in making fundraisers a means to network and interact more with other Mafa members. I'll avoid listing all my fundraising ideas for the sake of time, but a few could be tied somehow with Mafa families. Although my ideas may not be possible, I think that it's important to work together with fellow Mafa e-board members in collaborative projects that bring the community together. I want to share that I'm running for Mafa board because I firmly believe in the nonprofit work and cultural empowerment the organization stands for. As someone who wants to go into the nonprofit field, I believe my personal dedication will be of great advantage to Mafa. Although I am not Filipino, I have found it reason to immerse myself further in the culture while also further exploring what it means to be Asian American, something I hope to promote for other non-Filipinos. One question that I was asked when applying for Mafa e-board was why continue events planning and not apply for other positions? After reflecting, I realized how much of my sophomore year was changed positively by being involved in MFAS and the Mafa community. This is hugely due to the increasing number of leaders I've met this year. I'm not only talking about students on eBoard or Mafa board, but the choreographers, workshop speakers, and guests, and most importantly, members of the Mafa community who have shared their stories with me. I am determined to be involved with the facilitation of Summer LR, FACT, MFAS, Winter LR, and other major Mafa-supported events because I believe each are a great opportunity for growth. It's a shameless plug, but rooted in growth is what I have focused my speech around and will be the motto for if I get elected as events coordinator, because I wish to encourage growth just as much as I hope to grow and become one of the many leaders I've met this year. With that, thank you for listening, and please consider me as your next events coordinator.
Thank you, Emily. So we're going to start with your 5-minute Q&A session, starting with Julia.
Hey Emily, thanks for coming out today. I really enjoyed your speech. One of the questions that I had concerning your application was you mentioned your 3 goals of communication, interest and awareness, and QUAC. And I was wondering if you could elaborate in like the significance of the last goal, like increasing a voice and discussion of Mafa members in our community.
I'm sorry, you cut off. What did you ask? To clarify goals of something. I'm sorry.
If you could clarify why you think it's important for our members to have spaces for them to like express like their opinions and like things like that.
Okay, I think you said to express. So I think it's important that like Mafa members really have a say in like what Mafa presents, like at QUAC presentations, or how events are run, or just how communication is set up. So I think it's really important to provide like means of getting feedback very consistently. And so I think like doing it maybe after every event, maybe like a major event, having something set up even just sent out to the coordinators of that event. So like, for instance, I know like Mafa this year like asked consistently, oh, how are you guys doing with communicating with us? And I think that's very important to continue. And I think that was your question, and I think I answered it. Yes?
Okay. Thanks for that. I'm sorry for being all scatterbrained right now, but another question that I had was, in balancing your workload for the upcoming semester, I know that you'll be holding the position of Nihon's fashion coordinator, and I was wondering how, since the first semester was a busier semester for me in events planning, how do you feel like you can balance like these 2 positions in like the future?
So I talked with a lot of people, past fashion show coordinators and Mafa members and just other leaders in managing time. And I think I'm very capable of managing my time. I think the biggest struggle would be making sure that I communicate when something may be too stressful or when I need help with something because I have to focus on the other thing. But in terms of like setting it up more to show like that I'm possible of doing it, I know that the biggest things would be summer LR and FACS QUAC session, and then applications for MFAS. And the summer LR thing, I would love to try to get most of it done all in the summer, and while also balancing early FSC planning. And I think that is possible because the summer has a lot more time. And then in terms of once the school year starts, I will only be doing FSC and then my job, but like I mentioned, I'm okay with taking that semester off to really focus on the extracurriculars. I also know that fact and the fashion show are relatively around the same time. And I've talked with my co's and they understand that if needed, I would have to go to fact. However, I also have the greatest intention of finishing everything ahead of time, so that it'd be possible to go to fact without having any stressors or anything on my plate, so that I can give focus to fact. And then once November 18th is done, I am free on second semester. My duties are a lot more relaxed, and I think I'll have the time.
Kathleen, how are we on time? Oh, we have a minute left. Ned, if you want to ask your question, you can ask it.
Hi, Emily. So you expressed a lot of interest in and passion in quack. So I was wondering if you had any examples of anything in particular that you wanted to bring up, or like topics that you wanted to talk about in quack for the future.
Oh, for quack? Okay, well, I really just liked how I really liked how Winter LRs was focusing on leadership and something that you could really take back to your e-board. So I was thinking of something like, I don't know if it makes sense, but a communications focused kind of quack thing. So whether that's talking about maybe talking about how you communicate with your parents, how you communicate with your different students and e-boards, and then also just communication, how it's impacted with the new advancements of technology, just because I think it's really important to acknowledge how people communicate differently. But then I also wanted to bring in something that was, I guess, taking a step back with communication, as in learning to understand people and the importance of empathy. So the last question on the application talked about what would you be most comfortable talking about, and I mentioned mental illness. So I think that would be really important to bring into quack, just because it is so prevalent, and the stigma is still there, even though people are being more open about it. There's still stigma. So
Time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emily, and feel free to leave when you are ready. Bye. Thank you. And that is all the candidates that we have for today. We do have one other candidate that will be rescheduled for this Sunday evening, June 4th. I believe, June 4th, yes. So you will see a post on the Mafa members page about our other candidate for the co-outreach position. And then you guys will get the results for these candidates within a week. So I hope you guys enjoyed this round of Mafa board elections, and stay tuned for our other candidate. Bye, guys.
Bye.